Hi, welcome back to Album April. It's April 3rd, and today I listened to The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. This definitely seems like a leap compared to the last two albums I reviewed. I wanted there to be a lot of variety in terms of genres, when they came out, stuff like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I picked this album because I really wanted to listen to this album. The Black Parade is a concept album about someone called the patient who is in the process of dying and looking back on his life. I say that because that was told to me. There's not really any indication of that in the album itself, but these songs are all about death in some way or another. So, question number one, what was my first impression of this album? My first impression was that this album is very loud. I had to turn down the volume I think 4 times. That might just be something with the volume levels on Spotify, but it's also just the fact that a lot of these songs are loud in the sense that there's a lot of guitars, a lot of drums, the singing's very loud. There definitely aren't any songs on it that I would describe as quiet. In terms of the content, the patient seems to have lived a pretty average life and he has many regrets. In fact, it's possible that his death is the most grandiose and interesting thing that has ever happened to him. And while it's certainly bitter in a few places, like I Don't Love You, for example, there's an air of sort of defiance in this. No matter how many regrets he has, he's not going to end this sulking. He's going to be defiant, I guess. The last lyric of Famous Last Words is, "Nothing you can say can stop me from going home." All of these songs in some way, except for arguably one, are about either his life before, his death, or what comes after. And the songs all take very different approaches of it. They look at it from different angles, which I appreciated. As for my favorite song from this album, absolutely 100% it is Welcome to the Black Parade. That song is definitely in my top 10 favorite songs ever, maybe the top 5. If there was a better song in the entire aughts decade, I haven't heard it. Welcome to the Black Parade is incredible. It's like Stairway to Heaven, but emo-er. It's like Come Sail Away, but with a good lead singer. It's well written, the pace is great, the production is incredible. I don't think there's anything they could have done to make it better. You could make the argument that they didn't even need the album. This one song feels like an entire rock opera all on its own. But obviously there were other songs from this album that were really good. Sleep was good. I like Disenchanted. Teenagers is the first song I ever heard from My Chemical Romance, and it's still a lot of fun. That song does kind of seem like the odd one out on the album. You can tie it into the overall theme of death, because there's definitely a sort of pumped up kick school shooters theme to it, but the thread connecting it to the main theme is the thinnest out of all the songs on the album. As for the negative, I didn't straight up dislike any of the songs on this album, but I did not care for Mama. I think one big difference between punk and emo is that punk sort of has this air of snarky irony, but emo is a gut-wrenching and sometimes embarrassing level of sincere. Mama kind of went into sort of a Tim Burton campiness, and I don't know if the tone really worked as well as it could have in the context of the rest of the album. I felt very similarly about Blood, but it's a hidden track at the end of the album. It's like a minute long, it barely counts. And overall, do I think this album holds up? 100%. This album was a lot of fun, and I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive considering the fact that it's an emo rock opera about death, but all these songs have this almost sort of playful sound to them. It is bittersweet. When I watched the music video for Welcome to the Black Parade, I was crying, but overall, it's not just depressing. If you wanted angsty middle schoolers to seriously think about death, this certainly isn't a harmful way to present it to them. But even as a retired teenager, I was able to get a lot from it. This is my favorite album of Album April so far. And with that, I think it's time to carry on. I'll see you guys tomorrow.